As the heightened tension between India and China, Chinese Air Force actively now have increased in India-China border. Chinese helicopters and Air Force jets flying near LAC, while India ramped up its Air Force and military. Now India has moved its new surface-to-air defense system near China border. As part of the ongoing standoff and the build-up in the Ladakh region, Indian Army and the Indian Air Force have deployed air defense system, which Indian media says that it came from their friendly country. Well, the friendly country can be Israel or United States. Russia said S-400 can be delivered in 1 or 2 months' time, and other military equipment will come daily from Russia. So the new defense system might be like S-400 or just a land-to-air defense system from Israel or US. Now Galwan Valley and the Ladakh region have become full-fledged battle zone. US has warned China on its behavior against India. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said US is planning to move European military assets to Indo-Pacific region. Already the process has started. 25,000 US troops to be moved for India, Indonesia, Malaysia and Philippines region. In order to counter PLA, US is reviewing its strategy against China. China has been expanding its foots all over Asia and Africa. The South China Sea, East China Sea is also now under China's militarized zone. While Japan is chasing away China in the East China Sea, South China Sea is mostly controlled by China than the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Taiwan combined. India's long friend and partner Russia is unable to stop China and India border tensions. As Russia is totally locked with US, Europe and UN sanctions, it has to rely China for its economy fully. According to many Indian analysts and think tanks, India has no other options than to join US. Russia is not the same Russia it used to be during the period of Indira Gandhi. US is also not the same as before. US has more closer ties than Russia with India, while China and Russia has like brothers than the friend India. China has more influence in more countries than before. While India has more advantage in the China-India border, China has brought up its Su-30 jets to tackle high altitudes. While India is waiting for 300 Tejas jets and 276 Su-30 jets and 126 Rafale jets are to be inducted in coming years of 10 to 15 years. Right now, these projects were processed very slowly from 2014. If these were processed fastly by the Prime Minister Modi, the government of India had not to struggle to fasten their military equipment's delivery to India from Russia, said by an Indian military analyst and Indian medias. Now India has balanced Chinese militaries in the Ladakh region. India is fully geared up to face and chase anything from Chinese side. India has many military bases along the China-India border, while the Chinese has few nearby bases and other bases are too long which are 700 miles apart. So what do you think of India getting ready to face Chinese military? Can US and India become the new Russia? Or these are just a temporary time partnership? And can the US warning and the military against China help India?
India has edged out China as a preferred partner for key European nations, Japan and the United Arab Emirates for joint infrastructure projects and capacity building projects in Africa. The UAE, France, Germany, UK and Italy are in talks with India to launch joint projects in Africa, owing to India's goodwill created by funding demand-driven projects and providing concession loans for various sectors, according to people aware of the matter. On the other hand, they said that China's Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI, is facing a pushback in Africa, with some countries cancelling or going slow on project owing to huge debts. In Japan, during Prime Minister of India Mr. Narendra Modi's recent visit to Tokyo, announced a mega health project in Kenya that will be implemented jointly by India and Japan as part of the Third Country Initiative. A news report has learned that the UAE could partner India for projects in parts of Eastern Africa where the UAE has strong political connections. France, Germany, UK and Italy have expressed interest in partnering India in the third country projects in Africa. These countries are expected to outline specific projects where they are interested to partner with India, said one of the person who spoke on condition of anonymity. Besides Africa's second biggest economy and a big investor in Africa, Morocco has also expressed interest to partner with India for the joint projects in various African countries with special focus on Western Africa. In contrast, Sierra Leone in West Africa recently scrapped plans to build a China-funded $380 million airport outside the capital, Freetown. A few other countries in Western and Southern Africa has also expressed concerns that China's funding pattern could push them into debt trap. African countries jointly owe China about $130 billion, according to the China-Africa Research Initiative. This amount has funded transport, power and mining projects in the resource-rich continent. Countries around the world are now rethinking the readily available loans offered by China for infrastructure projects in their countries, after fearing they could fall prey to Beijing's debt trap diplomacy. China-funded projects are also required of hiring China-owned contractors rather than the local companies and workers. Chinese loans with interest rates of 2 to 3% are 1,100% more expensive than those from Japan at only 0.25 to 0.75%. A Daily Enquirer, a leading Philippine English newspaper, recently reported. Indian model is being and completely driven by demands and requirements of the line of credit or the LOC recipient countries. India's LOC offered as a concessional rate currently amounts to $25 billion for 263 projects in 62 countries including in Africa. This is besides the grants offered by India. Since 2014, the government has emphasized on timely completions of all LOC funded projects by removing dubious companies who were earlier executing the projects, particularly in Africa. This has also ended pilferage of funds. An official familiar with the projects under the External Affairs Minister Development Partnership Administration told a news company. The top Indian corporate firms are now involved in execution of projects. The PM as well as the foreign ministers have been reviewing status of projects to ensure timely implementations. Also, he said after having expanded sections for which it offers LOC, India sought blueprints for specific projects in Africa from the partner countries in Europe. The new sector includes infrastructure projects such as the convention centers, which were once China's forte, renewable energy initiatives, and defense. India is on the course to implementing a $10 billion LOC announced by the Prime Minister at the Mega India-Africa Summit in 2015. The official site had said earlier, adding that the International Solar Alliance or the ISA has been another instrument to bring India-Africa closer to each other. France is partnering India in ISA. Besides, the telemedicine and teleeducation projects are being implemented on a pan-Africa basis. So what do you think of China might be in shock to see India and other European countries and the main biggest countries cooperating and jointly working to bring up African projects by rejecting China's debt trap? Does India needs to do this to escape from Indian politics? Do India needs to look into India to develop India first, then go around the world? Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.